And very interesting discussions we've been seeing and submissions by Mr. President Muhammadu Buhari. And we're going to sink our teeth into that this morning. And I'm being joined on the set by, to my far right, of course, by Shina Fagbenro Byron, is the presidential aspirant of COA Party and development expert. Congratulations, you're going for Mr. President. Good morning. You may have to provide solutions to this rankling that we're seeing.
There are solutions.
And also to my very close right here is Dr. Pearse, Director of Admin Southwest of the SDP, Senior Lecturer, also University of Lagos. Thank you for joining us on Sunrise Daily. Let me begin with you, because when you listen to Mr. President make those submissions as against the former president, and knowing that both of them have been from the same background, I mean, they've been military generals also. But what comes to your mind, especially with this debate about the power sector? Does it suffice that probes are carried out for past presidents by current presidents?
What comes to my mind is that President Buhari is trying to digress and divert attention from his feelings and his woeful performance in this administration, and that he wants to make the argument between two old men the issue for 2019, and we will not allow them, the two men, to take over the debate. We want to talk about our future, because if we go into probes and probes, if he's probing Obasanjo will now go back to Buhari's days as the chairman of the Petroleum
Trust
Fund, where there were atrocities and allegations of corruption against Muhammadu Buhari. So let's leave all these things alone and look at what Buhari is doing now and where we want to go in the future for the development of this country.
What's your take on this?
Well, let me put it this way. When Fela Anikulapo Kuti sang the song Army Arrangement, what he was trying to say was that there was a conspiracy of some people to dominate and to throw Nigeria in a certain direction.
Is this what it is? Is this what is playing out?
Every conspiracy must at some point in time implode, particularly if it's a conspiracy that is not, that was never in favor of the people. So the truth of the matter is that they have always been a distraction in the path of good governance. From 1966, they have been in distraction. There was a trajectory that Nigeria was going on. They distracted us. They continue to distract us. And you will get nothing from them but distraction. And this is why they have, I mean, right now the chicken has come home to roost. And they are not the only two generals that have quarreled. Danjuma has said his own. And it tells you that the center cannot hold amongst them. It will never hold amongst them. Because as far as I'm concerned, you know, in the first place, you never get accountability from these people. They are not trained to answer anybody's questions. They are only trained to respond to themselves in a rather, you know, retrogressive manner.
But this should be about the Nigerian people.
That is precisely the point.
Is there anything wrong with the president asking that where is the power?
There is nothing wrong in it, but that is the question he should have asked the day he got into power, not now. You're asking where is the power? Of course, we know that, you know, you've tried to provide solutions. It's okay. And the other guy, I mean, President Obasanjo, who is going all over the country. What's happening is that Buhari is frustrated. He's frustrated as the pressure is getting. He's frustrated as his former colleague, the former person that endorsed him. He should have asked Obasanjo, when Obasanjo was going to endorse him, he should have asked Obasanjo, where is the power? At that point in time, so he could have received the power and delivered it to us.
But are you implying that you've just focused on power, maybe because my colleague asked you about the power side, but the president said a couple of other things.
Yes.
You think he was wrong in those assertions?
Which other things he said? I heard he say that it was wrong for people to take their children to school abroad. Well,
he also talked about how the nation's coffers were emptied out, and he went to the central bank. They said they're only debts.
Politician, most politicians we've had in Nigeria have always come in to say, I met an empty treasury. What is the difference between what the head of state is saying? by saying he met he's saying I met an empty treasury. In short, that is why we're not getting the kind of deliverables that we expected, right? Despite the fact that he gave us timelines, he campaigned, he said quite a bit of things. And I know it can be difficult when you get into power, right? And you find out that the reality is not exactly. But understanding the problem in the first place helps you get on the trajectory. Unfortunately, this president did not understand the sources of the problem in the first place. He came in on the credibility and integrity and anti-corruption thing. And so that's only a physical thing. That doesn't show an understanding of the roots of the problem. It shows you that you've identified what the aftermath of the problem is. And when you say other people shouldn't send their kids abroad to school, and you go to the hospital abroad, then what does that make you?
Okay, Dr. Pearse.
Yes.
From what Mr. Fagmura just said, that he's like somewhat underrating the president to say he didn't understand what he met on ground. Do you agree with him?
President Buhari does not have the mental capacity to rule this country.
Those are strong words.
That's strong words. I believe it. He knows it. Everybody knows it. When the question of whether the president has school start or not came up, I said at the time as an educator that this is a serious matter. Does this man really have the capacity?
Because permit me to just butt in.
His performance today has shown that he does not have the capacity.
The president was voted in by Nigerians, so we must give the president the credit.
The president was voted
in say he was voted in
because he lied to the country. The president was voted in because he told us lies. He said he would do X, and we voted for him,
I must call you to order now. No, we must call you to
Pearse.
order now. But my question now is that if we have to look at the tenets and the criteria of selecting our leaders today, because you look at truthfulness, you look at accountability, you look at their past records, you're looking at what they have been able to do as individuals and their record. How does it play out for the Nigerian people when you have little or no choice on who is presented to you to become your president, or even at the governor, at the state levels? What is it we're getting wrong that suggests to a lot of people that we are not in the right path to national development and getting the right people in the right places?
Okay, you see, the first thing where we get it wrong is even believing that we don't have choices. I'm throwing myself out as a choice. So are many other people. So for a country of 180 million people to tell us that they don't have choices, of people who are thoroughly well educated, thoroughly well experienced, and thoroughly well informed. Now, I don't necessarily believe that you have to have a PhD or even a BSc to be the president of the country. As a matter of fact, to be president of the country, you don't need to know it all. You need three things. And when we mean capacity, we don't necessarily mean capacity as in technical capacity. We mean strategic capacity and an understanding. You get my point. Knowledge, wisdom, and understanding are things you don't go to school to read for. But you see, to get understanding in terms of the problems of Nigeria takes you to understand and know and love Nigeria sufficiently to think through exactly why and when we started to have this problem. And then you also need to be able to gather onto yourself people who know better than you. You see, because there are loads of people, experts in this country. And if you just penetrate and open your eyes and be sufficiently liberal and merit-oriented, then you will see these people. They are strewed on in this country who can get it. And then the third thing you need is to be able to coordinate. And I've said it once, twice, many times on this program. One thing this particular government lacks is coordination.